the Jews have to be counted. Why do they have to be counted? Because when you count something, it becomes important. There's a law in the laws of taruvot, of mixtures, that a thing which is always counted, is sold by the number, is never negated. Never negated. So, for instance, if you have, let's say, a crow egg, and let's say it looks exactly like a chicken egg, can't tell the difference, and you sell eggs in the town where you are, you sell eggs by the basket. Well, if that crow egg gets mixed up in other eggs, and let's say it looks exactly the same. In fact, it doesn't look the same, but I'm just giving the example. It looks exactly the same. Then it's negated 1 and 2. One crow egg is negated in 2 regular eggs. But if the eggs are sold in your town by number, then one crow egg that gets mixed up in 1,000,000 kosher eggs, they're all not kosher. You have to break them all open to see which one the crow egg is. You can't mix them in. Because the thing that is counted is never negated. Makes everything forbidden. So the same thing with the Jewish people. Once a thing is counted, once they're counted, they never lose their identity. They are never negated among the non-Jews. Okay? Good? You with me?
Yeah.
Therefore, the Jews are counted. Why are they counted? Because when they're counted, they become important. Good?
Good.
Says the Rebbe, this is not good. Why not? Elashein moving a dain, it's still not understood. Tamadin, the reason that davar shebeminyan lo batal, the reason that a thing which is counted is sold by the number can never be negated is minyan mucheach ala chashivut hadavar. Counting it doesn't make it important. The reason you sell them by number is because it already is important. If you're living in a farm town where they sell eggs by the bushel, then it's a sign that eggs are not so important over there. Right? You get a big bushel of eggs. Sometimes in the bushel of eggs, there's 90 eggs. Sometimes there's 50 eggs. Sometimes there's 100. We don't care. Makes no difference. But if you sell eggs by number, it shows that an egg is an important thing. So if so, counting it doesn't give it its importance. Counting it shows that it already is important. So that answer about by counting the Jews, they become important. And because they become important, they can never be negated. They always retain their identity. Is not a good answer. Because counting does not make them important. Exactly the opposite. The fact that they're important, that's why you count them. If so, comes the question back, why wouldn't the original question we had, why did God want the Jews to be counted? Ella Sheina moving, it's not understood. Tamadin, the reason for this law of davar shebeminyan lo batal is because the minyan mochiach, counting a thing, shows that it already is important. Davar chashuv eino batlan, an important thing is never negated. So it comes out. She'en a minyan gorem. Counting a thing doesn't cause it to be important. Ki'im, but rather shu rak siman. It is just a sign, hamavarer, which brings out the importance of the thing. And since the Jewish people, they are something which is important already, they are fitting to be counted. If so, they're davar shebeminyan. They already are important. And because of their importance, they can never be dissolved among the non-Jews. So why do you have to count them? Even if you never count them, the Jews are already important. Why do you have to count the Jews actually? Okay, Urshel. Gimel. Kamor, like we said before, Mahut Parshat Bamidbar is a preparation for the giving of the Torah. Here's the one I wanted to make. Okay, that's the page you're missing. Here. Yeah. The Torah portion, Bamidbar, this is a preparation for Mountain Torah. What's the big novelty of Mountain Torah? Chibur Elyonim v'Tachtonim, Ruchnius v'Gashmius, joining the heavens and the earth, spiritual with the physical. HaMitzvah shelifnei Matan Torah, the commandments which were before Torah, lo palu b'tavorim agashmim shebehem nasu hamitzvahs. The commandments that the Jewish people did before the Torah was given, there were a few commandments, but they did not have a lasting effect on the physical world. As soon as the Torah was given, Hanika Koach, to give the power that the Jewish people would be able to refine by means of doing the commandments, the physical world, and make from the physical world holiness. No. Since the service of the Jewish people after Matan Torah is making the world holy, and in a way that the world itself will be a dwelling for Hashem, therefore, it is necessary that the importance of a kocham and the power of the Jewish people will be in a way she'ha'olam, that the world will feel their importance. Again, we can't stress it enough. The main novelty of the Torah is that this physical world will become holy. Not the upper world. It's not a key to get into heaven. It's not a key to get out of the world. The Torah is there to make this whole physical world a holy place, like the Holy of Holies in the temple. The whole world. And because the Torah was given to the Jews, so it has to be that the Jews also have this quality. If the importance of the Jewish people was only spiritual, and it wasn't physical, the Jewish people, let's say, are the greatest scholars, they are the greatest prayer, they know how to pray. The Jewish people, they are the most spiritual people. So that would be very nice, but that's not the purpose of the Torah. The purpose of the Torah is the Jewish people should be in the world. They should affect the world, and the world should not affect them. Hari av shegam az lo hayu mitpatlim be'olam, even though the Jews would maintain their identity, the world would have no effect on them. V'yo lo haya la'olam kol shlita aleim, the world would not have any effect on the Jews if the Jews were special spiritually, because that was a thing that the world couldn't touch. But yes, it's true, the world would not have an effect on the Jews, limenoamiam, to stop them. The service, benogei alatzmam, regarding themselves, praying to God, doing the commandments, because the Jews spiritually are different from everybody else, right? But that's not enough. The Jews have to be physically different. Because if the importance of the Jews was only spiritual, then they would not have the ability and the uniqueness in order to lahashpia ulapoil ba'olam hagashmi, in order to have an effect on the physical world. Lochen, therefore, tzorich limenotam. That's why the Jews had to be counted actually. Why did the Jews have to be counted? Kedei levate et chashivutam b'davar shenikar umurgash ba'olam. In order to show that the Jews are not only special people spiritually, but they're also special people physically in the physical world. Not only is it that the world has no effect on them, that's very nice that the world has no negative effect on them, but that's not enough. We have to have a positive effect on the world. Shedavka az, that only then yesh b'kocham v'chashivutam, there is in their power to cause in also on the physical world. According to this, Muvan Gama Kesha, we can understand the connection between Bamidbar and Matan Torah. Why? Because Nimnu B'nai Yisrael, the Jewish people, were actually counted, and their importance was expressed Be'pu'ula ba'olam, in the physical world. There was, of course, the Jews are important, and of course God knows how many there are. But the novelty of counting them means it brings their importance out into the world. Every single Jew gets counted. 1, 2, 3 in the physical world. And this count means not just that the world won't be able to stop them. The world won't be able to negate the Jews. The world won't be able to convince the Jews to stop being Jewish. There are always going to be Jews that are going to be Jewish, but that's not enough. The purpose of the Jews is not to maintain their identity, is not to close themselves up and to learn Torah all the time. The purpose of the Jews is eventually, somehow or other, at least some of the time, to have a positive effect on the world, to let the world know that there's a creator, and the creator cares about them. Much more difficult than just putting a big wall around your house and not letting anybody in. Right? That's a wonderful thing. Not letting anybody in. You maintain who you are, you become holy, pristine, pure, but no effect on the world. The whole purpose of the Jewish people is to have a positive effect on the world. Dalit. That's one of the reasons why, by the way, we go out and put tefillin on people. Maybe one day you'll come with me to put on tefillin on people. We'll see.
God willing.
God willing. I go on Fridays and I put tefillin to have an effect on the world. To go out of ourselves, have an effect on the world as well. Al Pisa, according to this, now we can understand why Manu Raketa Elu Shem Ben Esrim Shana V'Mayla. Why did they only count the men, and why only the men that were 20 years and older? If you're going to count the Jews, you should have counted everybody. It should have been necessary, Limanos call Yisrael, to count all the Jews. Kadeshiu Kulam Davar Shabaminyan, that all of the Jews will be a thing which is counted, physical, in this world. Al Yidezeh, by means of this, Lo Yidbatlu Chas V'Shalom, among the non-Jews. Madua Eifo Nimnu Rak Mi Ben Esrim Shana V'Mayla. Why only count those Jews that are 20 years old? What's the point? Why not count all the Jews? The difference between the service of a Jew to God before 20 years old and a Jew that's after 20 years old is like this. Ad Esrim Shana, until a person is 20 years old, Tzarech Lios Ikra Avodas, your main service has to be in learning Torah. Kei Herschel. Ben Chamesh, you have to learn 5 years Torah. After that, 5 years of Mishnah. After that, 5 years of Talmud. The Ikra Shel Limud Torah, the main thing of learning Torah for the first 20 years of your life, it's not to have an effect on the world, Al Yedei Etzem Limud Ba'olam, by means of learning Torah in the world, but why do you learn Torah up to 20 years old? For yourself. In order to make yourself strong, to fix yourself up, that you know what to do, and that you can be strong inside, personally. Ubechalal and in general, Hari lahavanat davar seichel yesh yitron b'itbodedut b'olam. Generally speaking, in order to understand ideas, in order to understand, to use your mind, it's a good thing to find a nice quiet place that's far away from the world. Huh? Good thing. But it says when you're 20 years old, it says in Pirkei Avos, 20 years old, lirdof, to chase, liot yotze tzava. You 20 years old, you can go into the army. Allah l'tzeit lamilchama l'kivush olam. Go out to war and conquer the world. Poru uravu omalu et ha'oretz v'chivshua. Be fruitful, multiply. Fill the earth and dominate the earth. That's the job of the Jewish people, to dominate the world. What does it mean, dominate the world? That everybody should be our servants? No. That everyone should be the servants of the creator of the universe. Everyone should be like us, servants of the creator of the universe, but everybody in their own way. Just like God creates everybody differently, so everyone will serve the creator differently. But that's the purpose of the Jewish people, to convince the whole world. That's what it means, be fruitful and multiply. Conquer the world by means of doing the commandments. When you do commandments, people see doing the commandments, and suddenly they realize there's such a thing as God. And therefore, there was no necessity to count the people who were before 20 years old. Why? Because the people before 20 years old, they didn't get out into the world. The real importance of a Jew is to get out into the world and fix up the world. Now you're in yeshiva, you're learning. It's like you're before 20 years old. You have to fill up the furnace with wood.
20 in August.
Really? Mazel tov. In other words, your birthday is just a couple months away.
Yeah, that's why I'm in Yeshiva. Not 20 yet.
As soon as you get
August.
As soon as you get to be 20, and we're going to send you out to conquer the whole world. Is that okay?
Only science.
What do you mean? Okay, let's go.
I'll tell you about it later.
Tell her later. Kamor Leil, now we're in Hay. So therefore the Jews only from 20 years old and up were counted, because 20 years old and up, they're the ones that go into the world and conquer the world. From 20 and up. Before that, you just sit and fill up the, how do you say, you fill up the gas tank in order to travel. That's what we're doing now. We're filling up ourselves with learning Torah.
The more Torah, the more life.
Oh, hey, Ka'amur Le'el, like we said before, Nikra Sefer Bamidbar, the book of Bamidbar is called Chumash HaPikudim. It's called the book of counting, numbers. Sham u'Befrat, especially there, B'Lashon HaKodesh, are a mora, a name, and especially if the name is a name in Hebrew, which is called the Holy Tongue. Hari mora al tochen davar anikra. The name of a thing, especially in Hebrew, shows something about the thing which is being called by that name. There's a reason that a cat is called a chatul and a kelev is called a kelev, like you said, with gematrias and numbers. If the book of Bamidbar, this book of the Torah, the fourth book of the Torah, is called Bamidbar because that's the first words in the book. If some people call it the book of Numbers, Pikudim, Be'ikar al Shem Parsha Rishona, mainly because of the first section, so it implies that Kochan Parsha Midbar, the main thing is counting. And in counting, the counting is not just a sign that the Jews are important, but there's something even bigger. Shemifat maladzu, because of this idea of counting, Mehave Parsha B'Midbar Hachana, it is a preparation for the receiving of the Torah. The fact that the Jews are counted in the world, and it comes into the world, this is the preparation for receiving the Torah. Kamor, Keyotze B'zeh Higam is Sfirat Omer. Sfirat Omer is also a preparation for the giving of the Torah. So we see this portion of the week is a preparation for receiving the Torah, and so is counting the Omer, a preparation for receiving the Torah. Sfirat Omer, lo shayachat oto chashivut ha'amura. Also in Sfirat Omer, lo shayachat ota chashivut ha'amura. Even though that's counting the Omer is not the same exact importance as counting the Jews. So we're going to see. Now, these things are a preparation. What does it mean a preparation? What does it mean when you prepare for something? Preparation means that you change yourself, you change your attitude. Right? You get prepared for a wedding. You prepare yourself for a wedding. You prepare yourself for sports, to prepare for a test. Prepare. What does it mean prepare? You sit, they call it cramming. They sit and they stuff themselves up, they go over the material, over. You have to prepare. If a person takes life lightly, nothing is important. So what do you have to prepare for a wedding for? What do you prepare? Just get married, that's all. What do you have to prepare for sports? I'm naturally good. I don't have to prepare. What do you have to prepare for a test? I know it all. I don't prepare. So a person that does life like that, it means either one of two things. Either he's always preparing, right? He's always thinking about what my attitude should be to get married, or he's always eating properly and working out for the sports, or he's always learning for the test, always has in his mind. So he doesn't have to do anything special because he's always doing it. Or it means that the person is just a lightheaded person. And he's not really going to appreciate anything, right? To him, getting married is the same exact thing as, standing in line to go into the show or something. It means absolutely nothing. So we have to make a preparation for receiving the Torah. Is the Torah an important thing to receive? Up to you. If you think it's important, then the fact is you're right. It is important, and you have to make a preparation. What's the preparation? Two preparations. One of them is Sfirat Omer, and the other one is the chapter of Bamidbar, as we're going to discuss tomorrow.